Wow, good morning. So today I'm going over to my brother Mike's track layout. His is really different, a lot more different than this one. It's further along and as far as completion. And we're going to talk about a few things that should be really interesting. I need to prep a little bit for what we're going to talk about. One is about the spreading the ballast that I've done on this layout. And he's already done his, but he made a ballast spreader. I bought one. He's more creative than I am. But what I need to do, so this is pool filter sand. And the granules are too big, most of them, to go through the ballast spreader. So what I'm doing, it turns out that window screen is a good dimension for getting the right size grain. So I'm sifting, give you a close-up, sifting the pool sand. You can see it coming out the bottom. The bigger granules will just stay in the screen, and then I'll empty that out. I need enough to get enough so that we can each use our own ballast spreader, see which one works better, or not. Maybe they'll work the same. So I'll do this a little bit, make sure I have enough to bring over there. Okay, so I made it here from my layout to Mike's layout, and we're ready to go at it.
Yeah, and welcome to Train Talk with Mike and Ken again. This is my other brother, Ken. I'm glad
He's
he was able
only
to
a
come
brother,
over.
Ken.
Yeah, what else can I say? So what are we talking about?
Well, I think today we're going to cover a few different things. We're going to cover, you have some pictures of
Yeah,
railroad that's pretty cool, like old stuff. And I was going to talk about weighting of cars and as well as slope of track. We're going to cover a little bit later ballasting. I had mentioned that he has made a ballast spreader, and I bought one.
yeah, we'll show you that.
We're going to see how that goes.
Yeah, so I just want to start with this book that I have by Dolores Ham that she made of some of the train stations and railroad
We
places
personally know her.
around Vermont. And this is the one of them that you've been interested in, is the railroad freight yard in Island Pond.
Right.
That you recently built a garage for up there, I think.
Yeah, that's the train station. Now it's a bank. But over here, I built a garage for somebody, and now there's only 2 or 3 tracks there. It used to be the Grand Trunk Railroad station.
Right.
And so there was a bunch of them there, and it would be, the Island Pond was a thriving, growing community.
And this is the western section of the freight yard. The eastern section was multiple tracks.
There's
right?
more than that?
Yeah.
Where the transfer station is now?
Yes.
Where there's a wood transfer station, so they still utilize some of that.
And this was the Lindenville yard here in Lindenville, just showing the number of tracks there. And we know that you can't see these very well. You'd have to get the book from Dolores Ham to see that.
I used my drone and I flew down the main line.
Really? Oh yeah, I remember
a year
that
or two
one.
ago. It's really fascinating. You could still kind of get an idea where those tracks were.
So there's some really cool pictures in that, but that's related to why or what I started to lay out to begin with was Greensboro Bend. And I have this really old picture of Greensboro Bend, and again, you won't be able to see it. But the railroad comes up one side or down one side of the valley, loops, and goes down the other. For a number of reasons. One is it was a logging community, and I think you found out it was for something else as well.
Yeah, somebody told me that when you go follow I guess it'd be the west going west, the elevation from that point to the other point, if you ran a straight line, a straight track, would be too steep. It would well exceed a 5% grade. And so to get around that, they went around it. they made a long, long loop to Greensboro Bend.
And this is one of the reasons the St. Johnsbury-Lamoille County Railroad was known as the St. Johnsbury Long Coming. My grandfather used to say because it took so long for the Lamoille County Railroad to get there, they just used to call it Long Coming because they had so much of that switchbacks to go. But this is also what I wanted to scale when I first started railroading. I tried to scale that down in HO, but the loop was so big and massive, like you couldn't make a layout big enough for it. So I tried it in N scale, and that was still just too big. Railroad Magazine at the time had an interesting article about scaling down and just doing segments instead of the whole thing, which is what I have ended up doing in much of my layout. So
Do you know what scale, N scale is? HO scale is 187.
187. I don't know what N scale is.
N scale would be like 100. If you folks know, maybe you could
Yeah,
leave
that
a
would be
comment.
interesting.
Let us
Yeah.
know. We could probably look it up. I'm lazy. Don't like to read.
But anyway,
do.
in talking about scaling, reminds me of we're scaling the cars
Yep.
and how much they weight, and you discovered some other things about locomotive as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, a standard locomotive weighs around 400,000 pounds, from what I've read. I did read that. And so the NMRA book talks about weighting a car, a rolling stock, half ounce per inch, plus, what is it, half ounce or another ounce for the car itself. So you could arrive at a weight. But if you were to do 1/87th scale of a locomotive, so a locomotive weighing 400,000 pounds, if you divide it by 87, is still close to, it's over 4,000 pounds
Oh my goodness.
that you'd be plopping on a track here. And I don't think that's going to be real. So
No.
I'm curious where NMRA came up with a formula, because that's probably holds true for rolling stock.
And that's a diesel, right? You're talking about
Yep.
the weight. Coal-fired steam locomotives weighed a lot more than that, and took a lot more track reassuring in order to run them. So that would be amazing to try to put one of them on there at over 4,000 pounds.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's pretty cool. I think we're going to do some ballasting today too.
That's going to be great. That'll be fun to see how I misplaced spending my money versus Mike being ingenuitive. Is that a word, ingenuitive?
Well, let's just see if maybe yours will come out better than mine.
Oh.
But we'll try them. We're going to try them both. So we're gonna go do that right now.
All right, let's do it.
So let's try some ballast. I'm going to start with mine, the matchbox piece that I made, just gluing a segment inside. And I'm going to try that with Ken's sand that he has, which is right here. And we're just going to spread a little. I want to get my 1800s locomotive out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a little heavy for my shaking hand probably, but...
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like that sand. It looks pretty realistic too.
It's a little more coarse, I think, than definitely more
We'll
coarse.
stop it right there and just let it spread.
Wow.
So that was nothing on the rails, but you still got some on the logs, which is fine. You always end up with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how yours does.
So how much did that cost?
This was the box of matches that I don't know how much they are now. We use up the matches, then I use the box. So
Yeah,
it
so
broke me.
I like that idea. Where's mine? What did you do with mine? Oh, there it is. This was $15 to have it store bought. Has 3 holes on the bottom, so it's supposed to spread it without being on the track. I guess we'll see. I found with the pool sand I had to actually tap. It was the holes were so small it wouldn't come out, but maybe it will this time.
It's not bad. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's going all right.
Huh. You actually it spread out thinner on yours, so there's not quite as much work to do to clean this up. Because I'd have to do a lot of work to clean this up on mine.
Yeah.
So that worked pretty well.
With this stuff, the Woodland Scenics, I think that's the brand, isn't it? Or,
Yes.
Yeah. You actually, I had to practice a couple of times. If I went really slow, it would overflow it. If I went too fast, it wouldn't get enough. So you really had to be careful.
So this is pool sand,
Pool filter for a sand filter.
and here's the Scenic. So
Yeah, that's quite a difference.
yours is a little heavier,
Yep.
little bigger. Huh, that's interesting. Well, let's reset and
Okay.
and try it with the Scenic.
Sounds good.
So that was the pool sand filter, and this is the Scenic medium ballast gray blend from Woodland Scenics. We'll see how that works in comparison here. So again, there's quite a lot on top of the ties to deal with.
You can brush that pretty well, right?
Yeah, I can.
Or brush it or hand, whatever.
Give it a try with yours there. Still some brushing to do,
Yeah.
but honestly, I like the way your pool filter sand worked a lot better. Yeah. Can you color it?
I don't know. It probably would clump together, wouldn't it?
The color wasn't actually that bad. You have another spreader too. Can I see that one?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a, I think this one was around $19. Comes with a syringe. It's for gluing. So it has a little wheel.
Show it a little further in here. There you go.
So it has a little wheel. As you're going, you turn that. First you fill it, and there's just a little slot right there. Like that.
Oh, no kidding.
Fill it. And then I don't know what holds it in there. If it's just vacuum.
Huh.
Apparently every time you do that, it allows more in.
Certain amount to go down.
Can't wait to try that out. So then it's the same idea. It just goes right over the track.
Oh, that's interesting. And of course, there's still the cleanup and the gluing that you have to do afterwards.
So this is the gluing.
Oh, that's
That's
the
what
gluing.
this is. Yeah, you put it in there.
Oh.
It's supposed to glue right over after you've done the.
Well, I'd like to demonstrate that, but
Oh.
I don't know how we'd do that.
I don't have any glue here today.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Well, that's kind of cool.
That was $19.
Yeah, so we were doing the ballast here, and I wanted to know what kind of glue you would use in that. What do you call it?
Yeah, the glue spreader.
Glue spreader. Glue
Pretty-
spreader.
Pretty technical name. I just Googled it and read or YouTubed it. There's quite a few videos out on how to get the right mixture. So I use Elmer's glue and water. Just water it down to, I think, around a 50-50 mix. And it can be more or less. And they suggest, did you ever use, like, was it alcohol?
Yeah,
ahead of
and I
time?
was going to ask you that. Did you mix any soap in there? Because as I do it this way by hand, I have to spray it with either alcohol or soap for the glue to soak into the ballast or any scenery and set up. Did it recommend any of that?
Yeah. My first layout, I didn't use any. I just used glue. Impatient, I guess, and it worked really well. I just waited for it, but when I put it on, I sprayed the entire track, and that's why I got this glue spreader. So I didn't, because I had to go back and clean all the track.
yeah.
Because I got it all glue.
I would have to also.
Yeah. I'm hoping that will eliminate it. I
So
don't know.
spray it with the alcohol, breaks the surface tension, so the water and glue can soak down into the ballast, but I would have to wipe off the rails afterwards, and I even wiped off the inside of them.
Of the alcohol? Take the alcohol off?
Whatever. Well, I would have to glue would get all over it too. So I just wanted to make sure I had good connectivity
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
So I just take a file and run it on the inside of the track as well.
Yep.
So that kind of brings us to some of the materials that we use. And if you notice, I have this material over here, which is it's just sawdust from my table saw. And I put a bunch of it in a bucket, put some paint in it, and soaked it, worked it with my hands, and then I spread it out on a piece of cardboard for it to dry.
Yeah.
And it dried just like this, which doesn't make good ground cover, but it makes good bush material like over
Yeah.
here or something.
I was thinking that would. Yeah.
But I put it on there to see if I'd like it, and I don't. It just doesn't look good. I just don't like it. What else we got? Also, I did have a comment from one of you guys whether or not the sound of a plastic wheel is quieter than the sound of a steel wheel. And I wanted to compare that right now, and you won't be able to see it as much as you can hear it, but I'm going to bring my train around here.
So you're demonstrating the quietness between steel wheels, or the sound difference.
Yeah, I like the sound of steel wheels on a rail. And to demonstrate that, here I have steel wheels on this Prina car. And you can hear it. And this is plastic wheels. You can
Wow.
barely hear it.
Yeah.
Some people like it quiet, but I just don't think it sounds as realistic to me.
I went out and recorded actual train video.
I know you
And
did. I
dubbed
think
that
that
in.
is so cool that you do that each time you start your concert of train.
Right? I don't know if people hear the same squeak every time, every video.
I keep waiting for that horn to sync with you pulling the horn.
Right?
Well, that's cool. So that's my layout as you see it today.
Can I just pan around?
Sure, go
You're
ahead.
welcome to be in it. Look at this.
Well, this is my workbench and some of my materials and my other cars that I still need to convert to steel wheels, along with those over there eventually. Some of the locomotives don't run. They're just there for display or for parts. And I have a box of others as well.
So Mike was taking pilot or flying lessons.
Yeah, I took several, almost ready to solo, but I'm not sure I'm going to get there. But I like airplanes, so I have an airport going in here that's covered up with my tree display right at the moment. And I always have an airplane shot.
Always has an
in
airplane.
all of my videos. But
That's cool.
I wanted the combination of all three, trains, race cars, and airplanes, just to be on the layout.
So do you have many battles over here? Or?
Those were in the box. I just pulled them out one at a time and lining up some of the accessories that I have to figure out what I'm going to put where, along with the buildings as well, of course.
How many engineers does it take to change a light bulb?
Or to change a track. How many engineers does it take to pour water in the engine? How many engineers does it take to...
Are you
raise a
making up a joke?
Yeah, trying to think of one.
I don't
to
have
raise
one.
a lantern, to change the bulb in the lantern.
Oh,
How many engineers does it take?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I give up.
Anyway, I think that's going to do it for Train Talk today.
Yep.
Thanks for coming over, and we'll figure out another one to do at some point. Give us some comments on what you think, or what should we talk about? What should we do?
Yeah.
Come back next time.
Watch it again. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember.
All right. See you now.
See ya.